welcome to the Scratticus Academy. First of all, I'm going to apologize for my voice because I avoided all the concruds and apparently it takes one nephew to bring me down. I will say, please check out the links that are coming up in chat now. We do have a Discord. There is a channel purely for this game. We would love to hear what you think about. We've got like powerful goat legs. We've got moose meat donuts. We've got a lot of stuff we'd love to hear about. Bears and berries. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. And if you have missed out on anything, please go head over to YouTube. There is a playlist for this game, but also all of the other games as well. If you want to catch up or just binge watch them, it's up to you. Otherwise, a huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors in the form of Hero Forge. You will have seen the video whilst you were waiting for us to go live. They are doing some seriously amazing stuff over there, and there's more being unlocked, more additions, not just colors, but also new features to go on the minis. We also have Mage Hand Press. You can see all of their extra modules on Mondays and Mage Hand Mondays. I think we're currently on Pirate, like the final stretch, and it's all pirates. So head over to there and check that out. And last but certainly not least, also the Deck of Many, which you can, but whether it's by a hype train or I think we do donations as well. I can't remember because my brain is fogged. For this game, if you want to see them in action. And they also make Humblewood, which is one of the most wholesome, but this is the most wholesome game, but this is the most wholesome book you will ever see. So I'm going to hand over to Holly so the shenanigans can ensue. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. I'm Holly. I'm Sageophilia on Twitter, and I'm here every Tuesday. I'm running the show today, and I actually planned a significant amount. Which usually it's less planning, so I'm really excited about a couple stuff, couple things, see how the players do with it. And on that cheerful and not ominous note at all, I'm gonna swing over to Beast News. So hi.
Evening. I am John. I am playing Zephyrin, the rogue who took a little hit to his intelligence score last night, thanks to the Deck of Many Things. Appreciate that. Check out the sponsor. That's pretty much it. He's in a bubble with everyone else. So
that's an exciting bubble. We're seeing some stuff. Moving on down to Lydia Heels. So hi.
Oh hi. Happy to be back. I love playing on Tuesdays. I'm Lydia Heels on Twitter. You can find me there. I post live pictures of my dog. You'll probably hear him tonight. I'm playing Winnie. She's a sorcerer and just really wants to stick to the rules.
How's that going for you so far?
It's not going great. Thanks for asking.
And over to Sassy with Sander. Oh, hi.
Hi, I am Sassy with Sander, aka Jordan. I'm a little groggy, but I'm here. And I'm playing Fable, who is an emotionally volatile 8-year-old who is also a bard. And that's really who she is. She is an Eladrin, and you can find me on Twitter, which is where you'll see all of my stuff that I do. I'm going to be doing several new things here, so just watch Twitter. It's all on there. You'll figure it out eventually.
Also, I love your nails. They look shiny purple.
I did them myself. I got it from a store.
Nice.
Don't remember which one.
I don't see them halfway down your fingers, which is a better job.
Finding it in the woods.
Hey, you don't know what Wormsley Esquire has behind the counter, okay?
I don't want to know what has behind the counter, okay?
Old lady's mushroom house.
Are people? Where are their nails? And how do they paint them?
They just have like little like berry on the edge of their like root system.
Berry, 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 bear, berry, bear.
And on to Alice, who's choking slightly.
I am. Oh, hi. I may sound like Barry White a little bit later today. Otherwise, I am Alice, a White Rabbit Pick. I play Ronan, who is the tallest, gangliest also youngest. I don't know. I think he's like second youngest, maybe, of this group. He is a tabaxi and he is a monk. He is very happy to be here. However, the only thing he isn't happy about is usually the worm with a face. He's not too keen on the innkeeper. However, after what happened last week, he's also not keen on this bubble. So I'll leave it there.
I mean, the things to be keen about that we've experienced so far in the Feywild are not numerous, I guess I should say. Not numerous. So where we left off last week, we finished defeating the capable goatmen, and we kind of
They weren't that capable. They just had capable legs.
True. They died.
So true.
So, well, most of them died, slain by Zephyrin.
We had a lot of cats.
One of them was unconscious. Ronan knocked him out.
Yes, one of them is unconscious, and two of them.
The rest are dead. Is that right?
Not that it makes the situation better, but.
And then we maimed a lot of cats while trying to free them.
So awful. We literally flipped and yeeted so many cats.
Yeah, Stumpy had a bad time. And then we went back to the den of the displacer beasts, and they were very appreciative, and we had a conversation there, and ended up going accidentally summoning kind of a chocolate dryad looking lady that stepped out of a tree and was curiously sensual to a bunch of children.
Worth
And-
it.
Curiously sensual.
I forgot you licked Treebeard.
Treebeard got licked. And then we talked with the cats for a while, and then we got kind of plucked away to the court of a queen who seemed confused to see us, and had a conversation with her about the Feywild and about being here and all that good stuff. And we tried to get Tempasia to agree to return back to the material plane, but she seemed terrified and refused the offer. So we got bubbled by the queen. And as we were waiting for magical nonsense to occur, we saw some of our loved ones marched in to the room. There was one person among them who was not tied to one another, and that was Legend, Fable's older brother. So we'll pick up there. You're in a bubble, and you see your family members being marched in. Legend is not tied up and approaches the queen and bows.
I needed that moment. Everything is not okay. Wait, so he looks like he's like, okay. So I see this.
Mhm.
And I see my brother and everybody else is tied up. Is it apparent that he's responsible for this?
All the adults seem pretty calm. And you can roll me an insight to see to make a read on the situation.
I will do that when I pull it up. Come your insight. Where you be? Oh, wow. So insightful today.
You can't tell. Maybe he's responsible. Maybe this is all a ploy. I mean, your brother's pretty smart, so maybe he's like, okay, if I make it look like I'm like delivering strangers here, then I'll get an audience, and then we can all bust out, and we can save, Fable and everyone else. Or maybe he's a traitor. You don't know.
Can I pop the bubble?
You may attempt to.
How high up are we? Can I just ask before this happens?
You want to do what before it happens?
No, how high up are we?
You are. It's resting on the ground. So it's like a hamster wheel, a hamster ball that's just sitting on the ground that you're inside of. Very, very big one.
Can they see us?
They do not seem to be aware of you. And Legend's mouth is moving, but you can't hear anything that's being said. And the queen seems to say something back and sort of at ease is him. And he stands back up.
Just
Faber,
dead,
what?
and he's just in shock.
Is that your brother?
Yes, and she is going to cast. She's okay. I assume this is what I picture. You know, like in like little places where you can get puppies. They've got their noses pressed against the glass, and they're like, "Look at me." That's what she's doing to the glass right now, or the bubble. Which I guess would leave her at like an angle because bubbles are cylindrical. Whatever. And she's going to cast Thunder Wave at the wall of this bubble. Because even if it doesn't break the bubble, maybe it'll push the bubble closer to everybody else, and then they'll notice them. And if that doesn't work, she'd like to hit it with her sword.
I'm very nervous about what this thunder wave is going to actually do.
I'm busting us out of here.
All right, let's see. Everyone within the bubble, make me a Constitution saving throw.
Wait, that's not what I aimed at.
I have 10 HP. Hang on. Wait.
The range is stealth.
Wait, do I have
20.
And it's a 15-foot cube, so all of you are within range of this.
Oh, I thought
And
it was emanating from me.
The
I
DC
kills
is
us
13.
all at the end.
I made mistakes. Wait, do I have to make a con save?
No.
Oh. Okay.
That's fine.
So go ahead and roll damage for everybody. If you succeeded, then you only take half damage. So it's going to be 2d8 thunder damage. You want to roll that?
Yeah. I would love to do that. It's my spell save, right?
Yeah.
So if you meet over a 13, you're good. Sorry,
So-
me.
Zephyrin takes full damage, and the other two take half.
I broke you guys. Oh no!
It's
Did the
fine.
bubble break?
The bubble does not break. Everyone.
Are you kidding me?
I'm laying in the bubble, just like
Everyone
why?
also make me.
Oh no.
Wait, you made the save though. You rolled a 20.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you take
halves it.
half.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, meanwhile that almost halved my HP.
I'm so sorry.
And all of you inside hear this just massive, echoing, reverberating thunder. It seems to just be bouncing off the side of the bubble walls, and it just is loud and like as though you had stuck your head into a thunder cloud and just like that loud.
I think Zephyr was caught so much by surprise by this. He is laying dead. He's like on his back in the bubble, just hearing that.
I pull my ears down. Like
Fable is just like shrinks to the ground into a ball like this. I've made mistakes. Like
Those
it
of
was a
you-
fire.
Those of you not weeping and shrinking and lying, you can see outside of the bubble that the queen seems to be dressing all of them, and
What did you say?
the queen seems to be addressing all of the adults.
Okay.
And she
I thought you said something so different.
undressing.
Oh
You know,
my!
TSA checks. We need them in the kingdom.
this is
Where
a
are
kids
we at
show.
right now?
This is supposed to be a kids movie.
She seems to
no
be
such thing.
speaking to them.
This
In a
group.
kids movie.
Okay, so she's undressing them. Go ahead.
Right. And she makes a motion like this, and the ties that have them together just are sliced and their arms are free. And they all seem to be, rubbing and talking to her. They still don't seem to have noticed you, but roll me a perception. Anyone who's not curled up and dying.
So me. Fable.
I only got half. I'm okay. Oh.
Wait, can I roll one since I'm
No,
my
no,
head is
that
up?
wasn't good.
Mhm.
I might as well just be on the floor weeping.
So Winnie, you're
sorry, guys.
you're sort of torn because you're like trying to watch, but at the same time, everyone seems to be like in rough shape. But so it's a little bit of this. So you are looking away and don't catch what Ronan and Fable see, which is Fable's brother looks right at the bubble and looks back at the queen. And he walks up to her and says something as an aside. And she seems surprised and waves a dismissive hand. And everything in front of you starts to fade.
What else to do? I think Ronan is there, like the entire time.
Fable is now like pressed against the edge of the bubble, like banging on the bubble.
Every time you
Looking at
bang,
Legend.
you hear it like echo, and he's definitely seen you. He still does not appear to hear you as you start to disappear. And everyone inside can just hear this echoing, like worse and worse every time a bang happens.
I'm just breaking the group. Sorry.
And everybody roll me
For tears? Okay.
either
Cry
a
check.
Constitution, Intelligence, or Wisdom save based off of how your character would be trying to maintain their bearing as this starts to disappear.
You said we could choose Constitution.
Wisdom or Intelligence, yep.
Oh. I knew that.
Okay. Boys, come on. Boys.
I'm trying.
I rolled mine.
I know.
I've rolled mine.
I know.
Oh, we failed.
Yeah.
Boys. So as the scene starts to fade outside of the bubble, a couple things happen simultaneously. With your excellent perception roll before, Ronan, you notice as you're staring daggers that Legend's eyes are gray. They are not regularly colored. And then you and Zephyrin promptly pass out.
Again.
And I'm like, he's got
Okay.
grey. And I just
Zephyrin's like just starting to pick himself up, and he's just like,
Fable and Winnie, you see them collapse, and you kind of take a minute to steel yourself as you feel the bubble moving, but around you does not seem to be moving. It seems to be just fading into darker and darker colors. As you look up, you can see a very large silver thread that your ball seems to be moving down very quickly. And you feel that kind of like that going down on an elevator too fast, or like jumping out of an airplane kind of stomach in your throat feeling, but you're able to steel yourself.
Okay. And all of everyone's just like passed out in this bubble, and we're just like fading into nothingness.
Ronan and Zephyrin are passed out. You and Fable, you see the details of the throne room still, but it just seems to be getting like if someone was just gradually turning down the brightness. And as you look around, you see other ribbons of light around you that don't seem to have any giant spheres moving down them, and you see figures blurring past along those lights.
Fable, do you have any idea what's happening?
Fable is really quiet and very intense. She's got like her hair is kind of wavering between like it's almost like a wind is blowing it because it's kind of wavering between like her summer vibe and her winter vibe because she doesn't know how to feel right now. And she's just gonna say, I don't know, but I don't like it. And she's gonna stand up.
I'm gonna start trying to shake Zephyrin and Ronan to see if I can get him to wake up.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a persuasion or a medicine. I'll allow medicine. This is kind of medicinal.
Yeah, I'm gonna medicinally shake them. Ooh.
Okay. So you start to shake them. Kitty. You want up? Yeah, okay. God. All right. So you start shaking them, and we're gonna jump over to what's going on with the passed out people. So Ronan and Zephyrin, you see yourselves black out, and then it's like someone's turning up the brightness like way too much. And as everything kind of resolves in front of you, you see yourself looking at you, but it's the older version of yourself.
Can I see Zephyrin?
You do not see Zephyrin. You just see yourself straight ahead looking at you.
Hello. Like he sort of does like a little bit of a wave.
And
he's almost half trying to figure out if it is him. But if it copies me, he starts like trying to see if it does the same thing. Like right.
It has brilliant rainbow eyes.
I want to walk over to it and hold its shoulders and look at the eyes.
You take a step forward, and something seems to hit you in the face, almost like there's an invisible shield in front of you.
Can you hear me? Like, no, I'm asking you that. Like, stupid rodent. Like, sort of looking over at it. It's like, and he sort of sits down cross-legged. Okay. And I'm assuming this is all like, can he put his hands out and feel this barrier?
Yeah, and it seems to have a little give to it. Like maybe if you tried real hard, you might be able to get out. But
I'm gonna run at it. I'm gonna run at it. He sort of like gears himself up. Okay. And he's gonna run at it.
Make me a dexterity or strength saving throw.
I have a +5.
You kind of
is this?
Gear yourself up and run towards it, and you kind of try to slide through, and you see where you hit it ripples and kind of bows out and comes back in, but you're not able to break through it. Girl, I swear.
I start just punching at it and fighting it, and if I can feel it, give some give.
As you punch it, and your portrait across the way punches as well, you see both of these shields kind of ripple with the impacts.
And then I sort of take a claw out, and can I try and make a hole? You know, like...
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a strike. like an unarmored strike.
Oh, I actually have claws. Hang on. My God! I just start angrily shredding, or whatever this is.
You hear a very thin noise, and as you trace your claw, you see like those ripples again coming out from it.
Sort of sits down. This isn't fair. Like, as he sort of looks around. Is it like whiteness everywhere apart from?
It almost, you can't like see around. You just see nothing. Like, it's not, you couldn't even say if it was a color or not. It just seems like if you try to turn your head, you're still staring in the same direction. It's very strange.
He's like, I'm gonna wait for you to come to me. Why am I always chasing after everything? And he just sort of sits down.
And what's Zephyrin doing? You also see the adult version of yourself across the way.
Zephyrin would kind of just stare at him for a moment and then ask him if he's a spy for the queen, and kind of probably go through similar process of Ronan, figuring out that it's mimicking his motions, and then he's probably also going to like walk into the barrier, and then I think he would be a little bit more calm, and I think he'd like investigate, like just kind of feel around and just try to investigate for anything that might clue him in, like see where he is or something.
Okay, so go ahead and make me a strength or a dex saving throw.
I was actually just gonna an investigation check. Like, he's just looking around. He's not poking at anything.
You're not trying to get out. You're just, what is this?
He's just assessing like where he is, pretty much.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me an investigation.
Yeah, right.
Okay. You have no idea. You've never seen something like this before. You can tell that the person across from you is supposed to be the older version of you. But that's about as far as it goes.
I think he's going to take out a dagger and poke at the bubble now.
Okay. Go ahead and make me... It sort of bubbles and ripples as it did with Ronan's. Are you going to try to force it?
Yeah, I think he'd poke it first, see the ripples, and then kind of make a stronger jab at it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me. Elsewhere. Okay. So you poke it, it ripples, and you kind of and put it through with some force, and you see the Zephyrin across from you do the same thing, and girl, I know. And both of the shields seem to shatter, and you kind of fall forward a little bit, and so does the other Zephyrin, and seems to still be imitating what you're doing.
Okay. He's gonna put the dagger away, and I think he's gonna slowly approach other Zephyrin and just try to. He doesn't even really know what he's doing. He's just kind of like observing at this point, just kind of moving around. He's gonna stop when he gets like a certain distance away. He doesn't want to touch other Zephyrin because he has no idea what's gonna happen.
As you approach, other Zephyrin also approaches, and once you get beyond the threshold of where this shield was, you're able to see either way down the very, very long hallway. You can see that next to other Zephyrin is adult Ronan, and next to you is kid Ronan sitting there being upset and sulking. Also, everyone is now, thanks to the wild magic surge from Sphinx retweeting, glowing.
Glowing,
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Just a nice golden glow.
Fable is going to confirm a season because now she's sparkly. In her wait, I gotta remember which one it is. I'm trying to do it off the top of my head. It's autumn is content. Spring is joy. She is spring now. Even though there are some conflicting things happening, sparkles take over. Winnie,
You're glowing.
you're glowing. We're both glowing.
Do you think the queen did that?
I don't know. And she quickly turns into Summer. I don't like her.
I don't know what's happening.
I think that you would make a better queen because you wouldn't steal people, and stealing people's against the rules.
That
You
is
should be
against
queen.
the law. In fact,
We should overthrow the queen.
God.
Fable draws her sword.
I think that mutiny is also against the law, Fable.
It's only against the law if you're a part of the law, and since we're not technically from here, I don't think we're a part of the law.
I think the law governs the land, and we're in the land. We're in a
What?
bubble. I don't know the laws of this bubble.
But what if we put the queen in timeout? Then she can't rule, and then somebody has to. We need an adult.
We need an adult, but not your brother. I don't know why he was there.
And then she turns into Winter very quickly. I don't know why he was there either, but he's probably just like ruling the world with the queen, and it's fine. We'll have to put him in timeout too.
While Zephyrin sees the bubble with the sulking Ronin, and I think he's gonna take the dagger back out and try to break that bubble.
From your perspective, it looks like Ronin is a portrait. Both the Ronins.
Okay.
Are you going to be stabbing the bubble with Kid Ronin or Adult Ronin?
So wait, they look like, because I thought that I just assumed that he saw like just Ronin sitting there, and he just would have assumed that, but they look like portraits.
They look like moving portraits. So you can see Ronin there and like the tail flicking, but it seems to be very two-dimensional, not like Ronin's in like a cage or something. It just seems like it's a Ronin, a full-size Ronin portrait.
Okay, then I think he's not going to take a stagger. He's going to investigate that and kind of check out the portrait to see what it's about.
Okay. Okay. Looks like a portrait,
+1.
but Ronin's moving, and you're looking, and you aren't really sure if it would work. If you were just to stab it, there are definitely spaces that's not full of Ronin that you could try stabbing, but you don't know if that would have an effect on Ronin or not.
I think Zephyr's going to try kind of banging on the portrait to see if he can get Ronin's attention.
As you bang, you see ripples, and Ronin in front of you, you see it sort of go in and come out and go in and come out. And across the way, you don't see Zephyrin. You can just see this impact happening. And across the way, you see the same thing happening to your other self.
And he's sort of, first of all, he's looking at his hands because he's glowing. And then he's looking at that and he's like, did I do that? And he starts to pat it back, batting at it.
Okay. Go ahead and make a strike roll for your batting. Okay.
I'm good at batting.
So you kind of bat, and then it happens to collide at the same time, and as your fists / bat collide, it seems to fall and stop rippling, and you can see the other Ronin across the way, but you see two Zephyrins in between. The older Zephyrin freeing the older Ronin, and older Ronin seems to be mimicking you still, but you can also look down and see this hallway.
He's looking at Zephyrin like, are you the real one?
Yeah?
Prove it.
Gray eyes. I just moved to Roefeld like a couple of weeks ago. My dad was up there, like looked like he was captured by the queen. I mean, I'm not sure what else.
He's still glaring
He's
at
just
you,
kind of
and he's
rambling
like,
now.
What have I always wanted?
Would Zephyrin know that?
he wants a sheep.
oh, that's right. That's right. Well, actually, that's actually fitting. Zephyrin has to think about it for a moment because 7 intelligence.
You're being glared at. Like, this is very much like intense interrogation.
I think Zephyrin has to take a long moment to think about it, and then it kind of
time's running out.
Like the light bulb goes on over his head. Oh, sheep.
It is Zephyrin!
And he sort of runs over to Zephyrin and sort of throws himself on him.
And as you're talking, you can hear almost a double of when you're talking, one high and one lower frequency. As you go to hug him, the other copies of yourselves go to hug each other as well.
Aww.
Having a moment.
Sort of hugs like his Zephyrin and looks over at the others like,
who's that?
Yeah. I think they're us, and it's just he's like, I think they both probably look at the same time.
Is this awkward eye contact and cuddling in 2 sets now? Like,
Right. Do we leave them or do they just follow?
I think they just do what we do, but in reverse.
And I sort of watch the other Ronin and I poke Zephyrin in the face to see if it pokes the other one.
Hey!
I'm just checking something.
I get it. I get it.
Okay, well, how are we going to get out of here?
That's a good
Winnie!
question. Zephyrin just starts looking around to see if there's any kind of change in the scenery now that the bubble / portraits are busted.
Fable, if you can hear me, set something on fire. Maybe we can see you.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Can Fable? Can Fable hear Ronan?
Nope.
Ah, darn. I had a good comeback for that.
He's like, Winnie! Like, he's just like yelling into this nothingness.
As you look around now that you're outside of the portraits, where are you looking? Are you looking down this hallway? Are you looking up, down, everywhere?
He's looking pretty much everywhere, but I think when he sees that they're in a hallway, he's going to see if he sees like any doors or anything.
Okay, roll me perception. And Ronan, if you could also roll perception.
Hey!
Nice.
Good roll for...
Nice. So as both of you look down this hall, you just see that it's lined with portraits on either side. Just floor to ceiling portraits. Most of them that you can see within this range look like they're humanoids. But every now and then you see a creature. And some of them have gray eyes and some of them have rainbow eyes. And as you look up, you see these silver ribbons arching up out of each portrait. And for most of them, they seem to bend very, very high up and connect to the portrait across the way from them. But for some of them, they go up and down, and you can't see how far down the hallway they go. And Zephyrin, you are also able to hear the sound of crying from somewhere. It seems to be that way down the hall, the same way that the ribbons are going.
Ronan's like looking up at these portraits as close as possible, like,
He's weird.
Are our older selves doing the same? Have they followed
Yes.
us, or are they okay?
And the ones immediately next to you are Fable and Winnie. And they have their eyes closed, and they don't seem to be there in the same way that you were moving around or anything. And and as you look to the other side, you see blanks. But as you're looking, you see your parents appear, and they also don't seem to be moving, but there's no version of them on the other side. They are closed eyes and seem to just be portraits.
I don't get it.
Zephyrin is going to he's gonna pound on the portrait with Winnie, I guess. Kind of see if he gets any reaction.
Okay. You see it kind of ripple, but she doesn't wake up, she doesn't move, she doesn't react in any way.
Where are we?
I don't know. Is it some kind of prison?
What kind of prison commissions oil paintings?
Well, I mean, when I saw you and your other it looked like you were in a painting.
You did?
And then I tapped on it, and then you hit it and it broke.
Okay. Well, does that mean that everyone's in an oil painting and everyone has to tap it so they can get out? Because I don't know how to communicate that to Winnie or Fable. He gestures towards the paintings.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they look like they were asleep in there. So I don't know. Was it just us? I don't know. But I hear somebody crying somewhere. Do you want to
What?
See what that is?
You didn't mention that before. And he sort of like...
Well, that was before I saw our friends in here.
Look, Winnie was a stick once. There's some real weird stuff happening. I think we take the paintings. I think we take Winnie and we take Fable.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, see? Look.
And he takes Fable off and hands Fable to you, and then he picks up Winnie, and he holds just like, let's go.
As you try to pull it, it's almost like your fingers can't find the back. Like they just go along the wall as you're trying to grab the frame.
Huh.
And he's sort of trying to fix it.
You got a crowbar?
I have...
You're a rogue, right?
I mean, I have daggers and a couple of swords.
Oh, I don't know, that might be... Okay, so why don't... Let's find the crime first, and then we'll make an educated decision. That's what Rosie always says. Not find the crime person, but, make an educated decision.
And
okay.
You both feel sort of this warmth in you as a brief thought in your head occurs that you haven't put there, of Winnie trying to rouse you and saying, have to wake up. And you feel sort of a shake, and you see your doubles kind of shake as well. And then it fades.
Oh, that was weird.
You got that too?
Yeah, I think it was like when he was trying to wake us up, I think. It seemed like it. Like we were being, like I was being shaken.
Okay. Let's
Maybe
find
we're the ones that are asleep.
Oh, don't be silly. We wouldn't be walking around if we were asleep.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you. Now let's find the crying.
Yes.
Where did you say it was coming from?
Down this way, and Zephyr's gonna start leading the way toward where he heard the crying.
As you walk down, you see some portraits that you recognize. You see Twain, who has two portraits, one with gray eyes and one with rainbow eyes. But the one with gray eyes and rainbow eyes, the thread above it is one that's shooting off in one direction. And you see displacer beasts that have the tie between them, and blink dogs, and it's weird. after a while, you see Legend as well, and that tie is intact across. And a little while later, as the crying gets louder, you see a small girl with an empty portrait across the way and no ribbon coming out of the top of her portrait, curled up and crying.
Hello?
Excuse me.
What do you want? Go away.
Are you okay? Well, you're not okay, but I'm. What's wrong?
I want to go home.
Where is where is this?
And she looks up and make me an insight check or investigation.
Sorry.
These are cursed.
These are my good stats. I
So-
chose that because my investigation is -1.
So it looks like a very scared, very red-faced, weepy girl, Ronan. And Zephyrin, as you're looking, you notice enough of the family resemblance. This is Tempesia, but very young.
Zephyr's gonna kneel down and he's gonna say, Tempesia?
What do you want?
How do you know
I'm-
that?
It's like Ronan looks down at him.
Zephyr just kind of shrugs. He's like, I see some of the family resemblance. I'm Zephyr. You're my dad's cousin, but I think you've been here so long and I guess you haven't aged while you've been here? I can't really explain it.
That's weird. I don't like it.
Neither do I. How'd you, you fell off a boat, I think, is what I was told happened to you?
I fell off a boat, and then when I woke up, I was in this really scary place, and there were all these people, and I disappeared, and I woke up somewhere else, and there is this person, and she told me I had to go swim in this river so I could be useful. And then I got old. And I got to be a wizard. And now I make these. But I don't want to. I didn't want to make those. And she points at the other versions of you two.
Oh. So, so other people can be useful to her too? Is that why she's making you make them?
I don't know. I just know that I don't want to make myself like that. I don't want a second, and I don't want someone to copy me. I just want to be me. I don't want there to be another me.
I know the feeling. And as he eyes his other self with the rainbow eyes.
Who eyes you back?
Creepy. Do you have any idea how we can get out of here?
No, I don't know. The only other one that's awake is this man. But he doesn't like when I cry. He sings to me sometimes, and his thread's broken.
You explain the threads?
As he sort of looks up.
As you look up, you see a thread coming off of Zephyrin's head and connecting to the other Zephyrin.
And he sort of touches the top of his head, like
It feels warm above your head, but you can't see anything.
Zephyr turns around and looks at Ronan. What? What's wrong?
And you see the thread coming off of Ronan's head and going to the other Ronan, who's also...
they stare at each other across the way.
Okay, so wait, what are these thread things? Is this just connecting me to the slightly taller, creepier version of me, or what is it?
No, it's you to you. So, if let's say that you look in a mirror and then your mirror comes to life, but you're still like the same person, kind of, and it ties you together. I think. I just know that when people leave the Feywild, they don't actually leave the Feywild. They stay there, but they leave too.
So, wait, what happens if we cut the tie? Like these, they're all broken.
Well, the other man, who's sometimes awake, I think he's dying because sometimes he just gets real quiet and, I don't know. Because once I left into the Feywild, I never came back because I knew that she'd make a second one. And if I'm going to leave the Feywild, I want to leave the Feywild. I don't want to half leave the Feywild and half stay in the Feywild.
So I only half left the Feywild.
Yeah. You left, and she points at you. But you didn't, and points at the older you. At least not that I know of.
Where is the man? The one you're talking about? The one who sleeps a lot?
And she points down the way you came a little bit. And the only thread that you see that way that's broken was over the twains. It's the one on not my side, the other side, and she points across the way.
Okay.
And like Ronan starts to walk towards it to look.
He still appears to be not moving.
Mr. Twain?
He's like tapping on the picture.
Well, hello. How are you?
Okay, great. You're awake. You're the man who sleeps a bit and sometimes sings to her when she's sad.
Well, yeah, I think that, children are our future and they ought to be nurtured. And I wish I could do more for her, but,
That's
I can't.
a change of heart. Right. We've question. Why is your twine cut?
And he leans forward, but you can see this sort of ripple impact. I don't know.
Can I get you out of there?
How do you get me out of there?
Right, what you gotta do is take a deep breath and punch it. Break it. I can do it at the same time.
All right, little one, let's try it.
Okay.
And then he's gonna like come back and just punch this like painting.
Okay.
Okay. Am I rolling a unarmed attack? Haha!
All right. You can count us down, little feller.
3. Hang on, wait, are we going on 1 or 0?
Well, it's up to you. This was your idea.
Okay, we'll go on 1. No, we'll go on 0. Go on 1. 3, 2, 1.
And he punches.
And as you meet your fists together, the barrier ripples and falls. And he looks very sleepy as his gray eyes scan around. Well, that was mighty nice of you. What do they call you?
Ronan.
Ronan. Nice to meet you.
Oh no.
Oh, I see you brought... Is that your daddy and your little friend?
No. Oh, hang on, which one?
That big feller that looks a lot like you.
No, he just sort of follows me around a bit.
He doesn't seem to be following you right now.
No, he keeps his he keeps his distance, but he likes to copy me a lot. He's a real copycat.
That's a clever one.
Oh,
And he laughs. Now,
Zephyr groaned slightly.
and he's looking up, and his portrait across the way still seems to be asleep, hasn't stepped out, isn't mimicking. Oh, I see what you mean about the thread, though.
How long have you been in here?
I don't know. A while?
This
But
is
I
the
guess-
same elf we met in the Feywild, isn't it?
It appears to be.
Yeah,
The eyes are different, and he seems to be just a completely different disposition. He seems much more laid back and smiley.
Because, okay, that's another me, but I'm the real me. So you're the real you, but I've met your other you. Your other you was not great.
Oh,
No
really?
offense.
Didn't like kids.
No, that's preposterous. Children are our future.
Thank you.
And honestly, as they say, looking through a child's eyes, sometimes they see more than us older folks do.
Well, how did you come to be in the Feywild?
Am I in the Feywild right now?
Well, to be honest, we don't know where we are. We're just in a creepy corridor, and there's a lot of pictures here.
Is this some
Apparently,
kind
you're
of
one of the ones waking up.
Right. Wait, one of the ones? How many of there are you? Besides the several right here. And my girl, of course.
Well, there's a lot of people in the pictures. Our friends are back there.
Oh, are they awake too?
No.
Can you take me to see my little girl?
Okay.
I mean, she's not mine, but I hear her all the time, and I just want to make sure she's doing all right.
Do you want me to bring her to you? You look pretty tired.
No, I can walk. I don't want to, work her up if she's not feeling good.
Okay.
And he sort of holds out his hand for him to.
And Twain takes it, and both of you roll me a perception.
I am very perceptive.
he is.
Okay. So both of you see that the older Zephyrin isn't quite matching up with the younger Zephyrin in motion anymore, and seems to be going for weapons. The older Ronin still seems to be mimicking exactly. And we're going to jump back over to the people in the ball. So Winnie and Fable, Winnie, as you're trying to rouse them, you feel them kind of stir and their eyes flutter and they sink back. And Fable, you see this too. And the scene around you seems to start resolving. And you seem to be in the same throne room. But like I said, everything is much darker. And you see the beams of light that you'd seen before seem to end in areas you can see. It's darkish, but they seem to connect to figures that are moving, and these lights are moving along with them. You are still inside the bubble.
Are we still glowing?
You are still glowing.
The figures that are lit up, are they humanoid? Can I tell what they are?
Roll me a perception. It is pretty dark.
I do have dark vision if that helps.
Okay. So you can tell that the top of their heads look human shaped, or humanoid shaped. Some of them have the points of ears, but it's hard to really tell, because it's going from very bright light to really dark pretty immediately. So you're kind of trying to focus and do the glare thing. None of them seem to be coming your way.
Can I tell how far off the ground we are?
You seem to still be on the ground.
Oh,
it seems like it never moved from under you.
Can I take Zephyr's dagger and try to stab through the bubble?
Yeah. Make me a strike check.
If this works.
No, I'm so strong.
So you go to hit the side of the bubble, and it kind of like shriek off of it and flies out of your hand and kind of bounces around a little bit and just clatters to the floor. And it seems really loud, but nobody else seems to have noticed you.
Okay. Well, Fable, I'm out of ideas.
Well, she's still in winter. I mean, I tried to break it, but then I broke everybody else, which happens every time I try to do something. So I don't know. And she's gonna like collapse on the ground, almost pouting. But she is looking outside the bubble. Sorry, go ahead.
Am I concerned at all? Like, do Zephyrin and Ronan, do they appear like hurt or just that they're sleeping?
They appear to be unconscious. You're not sure if that's pain unconscious or just like asleep unconscious.
Okay. Can I cast Spare the Dying on both of them just to be safe?
So as you start to cast a spell, you feel it kind of come back to you, and you're like, this probably isn't gonna really do much.
And then, since the dagger didn't work, can I try a primal savagery on the bubble?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like a claw attack, and it does acid damage if it hits.
Filling the bubble with acid. Let's do it.
It's just a cantrip.
I want one.
I don't have it in Roll20. Oh my god, are you kidding me?
So you go to do it, and it starts dripping on the floor, and you're kind of, trying to pull the boys away and like not get in the puddle of acid, and it sort of fizzles away and bubbles away. And you two make me either an Arcana or a Perception check.
What's better?
God, why?
Oh.
This is
Story of the night.
This is garbage.
So you can hear nothing beyond the bubble. As you continue to try to break it open.
Okay.
Can I message one of the entities beyond the bubble?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there one that like I can make out a little? I mean, I don't want to talk to strangers, but we're stuck in a bubble, and I feel like this is an appropriate time to talk to strangers.
Right.
But I want to talk to the least strange one.
There's one that's closer to you, but you can't really. You can roll me a perception to see if you can make them out, but you can't really. They're all kind of moving around. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So, with a 23, they look really familiar, and as you're looking, you're like, "Oh my god, is that weird Moose Donut Ranger guy?" But he seems to be moving very strange as you're watching him. Definitely patrolling, but very jerkily and not natural. This is not natural movement.
They're zombies. No, okay. So she's gonna message Twain, right? We know Moose Man's name. Okay. I'm going to message. Hey, Twain, Mr. Twain, Sir Twain, Moose Man Twain. It's me, Fable. I'm stuck in a bubble. Help.
And both of you in the bubble hear this in your head, but much quieter than you were expecting. And the figure turns, and with these, like, very dead gray eyes, walks directly towards you and just presses against the side of the bubble and stares and pulls out a bow and aims it right for you and just stares. Unblinkingly, doesn't even seem to be breathing.
I think I'm unblinkingly staring back, terrified.
Fable would like to draw her sword.
Okay.
Nobody points a bow at Fable. And I'm gonna taunt him. Listen, if we can't get out of here, they can't get in. Like, that's the logic. I'm literally just gonna stick my tongue out at them.
Okay.
I'm gonna lay down and play dead.
I feel faint.
When you make me a performance,
I'm just gonna lay
awesome performance.
This will be the role I do good on.
No, it won't.
No.
And he just stands there, poised. And then his eyes roll back in his head, and he just falls over. And the light coming out of his head disappears.
Fable 110% believes that her sticking her tongue out at him did that.
You can hear him fall, which is, you have not heard anything up to this point, but you hear very softly a thud.
I have an idea. I'm gonna open my eye now that I'm not gonna play dead anymore because he fell down. Can I cast my mage hand outside of the bubble and pick up his arrow and try to stab it into the bubble from the outside?
Does Mage Hand have a verbal component?
I don't know.
The questions the DM asks make me nervous.
I got you.
Let me see. It verbal, so that it does.
So you start to cast this, and as you start saying the incantation, you hear your voice echo out in the throne room, and there's two other figures, shapes, with the light coming out of them, that both turn towards you.
Cool, but can I still pick up the arrow?
Yeah.
Cool.
Can I try to stab the bubble?
Mm-hmm. Make me an attack roll.
Did Winnie do it?
Okay. Now make me a dexterity saving throw.
No.
Wait.
I'm scared.
Both of us?
Okay. No, just Winnie. So Winnie, you're able to pick it up, and you're like, okay, all right, Mage Hand, like, we got this. And as you go to shove it through the side of the bubble, it passes through, and you realize in a moment that as you've been talking, the sides of the bubble have been gradually dissolving, and you stab the arrow into yourself, and you're going to go ahead and take
Fable screams.
4 damage.
Okay.
Fable, as you scream and this echoes, the other two start towards you in this same strange, weird shambling. And They do not seem friendly. So we're gonna go ahead and roll initiative, and everyone can roll initiative.
Oh my chicken nuggets.
Wait, we can as well? Or
Well, yeah, because Zephyrin was other Zephyrin was drawing his weapons. So
now I get a nat 20. Of course I do.
I am very concerned.
Okay.
How I feel.
All right. Nice. All right.
Realized Alice and I rolled the same initiative, and I'm pretty sure we have the same dex score, maybe?
I think your dex score is higher, but I'm gonna put the nat 20 first.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Actually, yeah.
Okay, and then Fable, and then Winnie. Okay, so you are up first, Ronan, as you see other Zephyrin start to break and draw.
Okay. I think Ronan quickly pulls, sort of like takes a stance, and he wants to hit him before he can even move. I have such low HP. I'm gonna die. Okay. 19.
19 is gonna hit.
And I'm going to hit again using one of my thingamajigger. What's it? 11?
Does not hit.
Okay. He sort of like makes that running, not tackle, but it's I want to run towards him and just sort of try and clothesline him and take him down with me.
All right, and Zephyrin, you're up next.
So you attacked other Zephyrin, Ronan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First, I think like Zephyr's definitely going to draw his weapons, but I think he's going to hesitate for a second. What happens if we attack our other selves? Is that going to kill us if we kill them? Kind of directing that to Temptasia.
Did you get all the way to Temptasia, or were you still en route?
I was still with Temptasia when.
Okay. She looks and says, "I'm not sure. People don't normally walk in the halls. You should just get me out."
Then I think Zephyrin is going to. So she's in a portrait.
Yes, but there's not a portrait on her other side. And
Okay.
she doesn't have any ribbon. And she has normal eyes. She's just small.
Okay, so Zephyr's gonna draw his he's gonna just draw his rapier and stab, at the portrait, not at like above where Temptasia is, because he doesn't want to stab through and hit her.
Okay. Make me an attack roll. Okay. So you go to hit it, and she kind of looks very alarmed. What are you doing?
I'm trying to break you out.
Well, it just looks like a lot of ripples.
Sorry, and can he bonus action hit it, stab it with the short sword?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Come on. Yes!
And as you go to bonus action stab it, she kind of seems to cotton on without you saying anything, and she steels herself and hits it back, and hits at the same time as you, and it just and is gone. And she seems And she steps out. Thanks.
Sure.
A lot.
Are you okay?
I think so. I'm gonna go home now, okay?
That is me clotheslining the crowd. She's like, bye, guys.
Well, wait, what are we supposed to do about these two? Our other two?
I don't know. Go home too?
Why, we don't even know where we are.
I mean, I don't know. And she looks around. I'm really smart. I'm a wizard. I can figure this out.
I believe in you.
Okay. So, if you're here on this side and the other you is here on this side and you don't leave the Feywild, but you do leave the Feywild, then maybe you just need to switch places?
So, wait, you mean have them leave the Feywild and us stay here? Is that what you mean?
I don't know. Just like... Here, let me try. And she walks up to the empty portrait that was on across the way from her. And she looks at you. And she seems to steel herself as this tiny child and marches through it and just vanishes. And both portraits turn black.
And that was the portrait that she was in?
She went from the one she was in to the blank one.
Well, ours don't exist anymore, so Zephyrin isn't sure how that's going to work.
There are blank ones on the other side of you.
Okay, I think... I mean, am I still able to communicate?
You can still move, and you can talk.
Okay, I think Zephyrin is going to start moving over to one of the blank portraits on the other side, and he's going to call out to Ronan, try going through one of the blank portraits.
And he sort of looks up from you after like the tackling. He's on the arms like, I'm a little bit busy. And he's like trying to like knock this other version out who's drawing weapons.
And Zephyrin, you see Ronan struggling and against you, and you see that they are in between where the blank portraits on the other side of you were originally and you, so you're gonna have to pass this scuffle.
Okay. I think Zephyrin is going to move maybe like halfway, so he's kind of closer to Ronan and other Zephyrin, and I think I'm gonna stop there and wait for my next turn to do anything else.
Okay.
But I don't have any actions anyway.
So, next up is Zephyrin. Haha! Who is going to attempt to stab at Ronan.
Which Ronan?
At child Ronan. Does a 16 hit?
Yes. Oh god, this might be Ronan down. Ronan down!
Oh, no.
And then he moves towards Zephyrin the younger. And
Zephyrin Jr.
Zephy Junes. And
Zephykins.
and goes to bonus attack with the short sword.
Oh god. So this is what it feels like.
And stabs you.
Okay.
You still up?
I'm still up.
Seemingly from out of nowhere, other Ronin just beans at you.
I am down.
And on the other side, the humanoids are going to close in on the bubble, but, well, the object formerly known as a bubble, but they can't act yet. And Lydia, Winnie, Every time. Winnie and Fable.
Right there.
I know. I was reading and I read up instead of
literally
over.
says not Lydia.
I have done all I can do.
Literally
Winnie-
capitals Winnie, brackets not Lydia.
Winnie and Fable, you can see both of the boys' bodies seem to jerk under impact, and Ronan just starts bleeding down, and Zephyrin sort of coughs and some blood starts coming out of his mouth.
Panic.
It's Fable's turn.
No pressure.
Well, this is great. Everybody's fine. And I literally can't do anything to help anybody. I don't think. I really planned this character out great. Hold on. Well, yeah. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. How close are these zombie things?
They're pretty much right on you.
And there's how many of them?
There are 2.
Considering I cannot help those who are
Those who have fallen before us.
yes, because I have nothing, and I would rather not everybody be dead at the end of this, so that we can save each other. I'm going to whack some of the people with my sword, the ones that are not my friends, preferably. Where is my sword? That is the question. Wow. That was so good. Everybody admire my skills, my handiwork.
Does not
Love
hit.
it. Shocking. I'm shook. Here is my other question. Do you do cantrips as bonus actions or no?
Only if it is a
Say.
bonus action.
Okay, never mind. I'm going to I'm going to bardically inspire Winnie.
Okay.
The last one I got until we sleep. And I would come up with a rhyme, but don't got the time. So have my inspiration and it'll be fine. I don't know.
Okay, Winnie.
Okay. You said that Zephyrin is bleeding.
Ronan is bleeding from the body. Zephyrin is bleeding from the mouth.
Okay, I know that Ronan was already like pretty beat up before, and I really don't have any spell slots, but nope. Okay, I have one level 2 spell slot left, so I'll do a level 2 healing word on Ronan.
Okay.
Okay. There's so many buttons to click. I'm sorry. There's so many. Okay, so you get the tiniest little hit points back. I'm sorry. I can't roll for
Roll 20 really hates
for
us
anything.
So you get 3 health points back, Ronan, and as you
Trash.
open your eyes, you're in a very, very dark room with Fable and Winnie, and Zephyrin is like coughing up blood next to you.
He's like, he sort of like rolls over. It's like Zephyrin, like.
And that's where we're gonna take our short break. So everyone,
Kyle's still
feel free
dying.
to stand up, stretch, do some wacky inflatable arm flailing tube man action, and we will be back here shortly.
Minute.
I'll try to stay alive.
hi and welcome back. We left off mid-battle. We were summarily getting our butts handed to us, some in this world and some in the next. And we stopped right after Winnie, who revived Ronan to see Zephyrin, I don't want to say choking on his own internal bleeding, so I'm not going to describe it.
Show, thank you.
Look, we had the moose donuts. And we had the curiously flirtatious.
That was more disturbing.
We just need a scale from like moose donut to curiously flirtatious tree person.
Made of
chocolate tree person.
Chocolate tree person. And just fill it in, you know, with Stumpy and the innkeeper and our mirror selves trying to kill each other.
But I still have an action, right? Bonus action.
I don't. Is your cantrip or the healing spell? Is that an action or a bonus?
It's a bonus action.
So yeah, you still have your action.
Okay, so for my action now, I would like to spare the dying on Zephyrin and see if it
works. You cast it and you feel it go off this time.
Yay! Well, that also sucks because that means he's dying.
Not anymore.
What does spare the dying do anyway?
It stabilizes you,
so you don't have to make death saves.
Okay, so I'm not up, but like
you're not dying, but you're still unconscious.
Dead. You're dead, but you're not like dead.
If okay, but I don't have to worry about rolling death saves. You said.
Correct, but the same unconscious rules apply. If somebody hits you, it's an automatic crit, and
okay,
yep,
yeah, and any damage you take counts as 2 failed saves.
Protect me.
So as this occurs, and Ronan, you wake up slightly. A bright light seems to come out of nowhere behind you. And I need to see how much this does. Bear with me. How many? Okay. And the 2 that were advancing just explode in this giant fireball. Yes, there's a bear with me. And berries.
A magical fire bear.
There's a fire berry. It's a bear that cast. No, I'm just kidding. And the caster steps forward into the light of the burning bodies, which now you can see are definitely humans, but again, moving weird, and it is a small girl. And she looks at Ronan and says, "You made it back. It worked."
And he's there just like, Zephyrin! Like, probably violently shaking him, but it's like, oh, it's you! Like, it sort of looks over, I don't lick my hand. No, like, and he's like, it's you! How did you do that?
I don't know, I went in the other picture frame and then I got here. I'm not sure where here is, though. Or do you mean the fireball? I told you I'm a really good wizard.
No, the fireball weirdly was the thing that made sense.
Yeah, because I studied for a real long time. And are these your friends?
Can you help my friend? You remember Zephyrin, right? Yeah.
I can teleport him, or set him on fire.
Please.
Oh, fire!
Do not set him on fire.
I just pictured Ronan picking up Zephyrин's arm and just going.
Yeah, you remember Zephyrin, hi.
He looks pretty bad.
Like, this is like blood.
He's not looking great, I'll give you that.
I don't have any potions. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Well,
so where are we in this bubble?
So the bubble has dissolved. You're all sort of huddled together, and it looks to be a throne room almost identical, but not. Everything seems creepier. Everything seems darker. There's nothing fantastical and elegant and beautiful about this throne room. It's very dark and dank. Not like dank, but like dank. And and you're all sort of piled on top of each other, kind of off to one side, in the same place that you would imagine you had been in the previous throne room. For those that stayed awake, essentially it seemed like your surroundings kind of adapted, but you didn't move at all. It just sort of morphed around you to be yeah.
We are.
Descriptive.
Yeah. I would like to turn to the child and go, we are. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do have a map just for layout's sake. And those of you that have the map on your screen will see there's still one person on there who lifts himself up and seems to be kind of rough looking, not great health wise. And you see Twain with the gray eyes. Oh, hey, everybody.
it's Twain.
Vernon just gestures towards him.
But he's not so much of a, abandoned children in a forest kind of Twain now.
Now, what?
Is he a shoot an arrow through a bubble kind of Twain?
Oh, no, this one was definitely stuck in a picture frame.
Fable looks at Ronan very wide-eyed.
That's the weird bit.
Nah, I'd never try to hurt, the kids. That's what kind of monster you think I am.
Fable side-eyes Twain. Is the fallen Twain still over there?
He had fallen. This is him getting back up. It is the same being. But he no longer seems to be making these weird movements, and he's, blinking as normal.
I'm still judging.
Now, is this one of y'all's houses? It looks a bit dark for that.
It will be someday. Fable looks up into the palace.
There's definitely an empty throne, and, it looks like it is ready for a queen.
For a Fable? What?
So are we, getting out of here, or y'all look really rough? Is that guy
rude.
still alive?
He's just about pick up the arm and sort of wave again.
And he, I think I got a little, if I can remember how it goes. And he looks over at the little girl and says, I don't suppose you know any magic. And she looks very proud. Says, yeah, I know stuff. I can cast lots of spells. And she seems really happy, much happier to be here. And he said, all right, well, I reckon I can. And he concentrates really hard and casts a spell on Zephyrin.
Fire.
And you regain 3 hit points.
Yay!
And he's like, is there anything he can do to help this situation? And she thinks for a minute. And she starts casting. And after a moment, a hut appears around you. And it seems The inside is decorated like an older sort of lakeside cabin. And she says, "We should be safe if we stay in here."
Where is here?
It's Liamon's tiny hut, and I know it. Because I'm the best wizard.
Well, what do we do? How do we sort out all the problems, though?
I don't know, but you look like you need a nap, and I really need a nap. And I think he really needs a nap because he looks really old. So, points at Twain, who
Yes.
kind of chuckles.
I could nap.
I need a nap.
2.
And an adult.
All right, well, I'm not much of a cook, but I'll do what I can to get y'all some snacks. I don't know what I still have on me or if it's still good. And he brings out basically the medieval equivalent of Cheerios. Like a rather large sack of Cheerios. And he
Random perks up.
rummages around a little more and just pulls out some candy, and he says, "Now, I used to be a confectioner, so hopefully these are good for you." That's a candy maker. I don't know if they still have confectionaries anymore.
All
Fable.
over the place where we're from.
Fable will wholeheartedly accept that candy.
You can see, like, if you hold it, you see a paw, like, slowly, like, coming into the packet, like, trying to grab it.
And he sets them out in front of you. And now I know it's not the most nutritious for, you know, growing little boys and girls like yourselves, but
Zephyr just takes a bite and just, after as well as, "We've eaten weirder."
well,
From you, actually.
So,
Moose donuts.
Well,
does that count as
the
confectionery?
other you.
maybe if you made like a little donut and you put some little pretzels in it, maybe gave it some like caramel coating.
No, this was full-blown circular mousse.
Like the animal, like the spray, or like the animal.
With sparkly jelly juice.
Mm-hmm. No, like the animal.
Yeah.
That
Infinite
sounds
mousse.
horrifying.
It was like an infinite mousse.
It was really weird. It tasted like fruit.
That
It was
don't
really
sound
good.
correct.
Yeah, no, it was really weird.
Right. Well, I'm not gonna try to cook you up a mousse. Like a fry it like a donut. That sounds, and put jelly inside of it. That sounds just not appetizing. I'm sorry.
That's what I said.
Okay, I have a question. Why
Alright.
are there 3 of you? There's Moose Man Twain, there's creepy stare at me through a bubble Twain, and then there's you Twain, and they're all different.
I
You have
only met
brothers?
Me Twain. I don't got no brothers. I had a sister at one point. A little sister, but I don't know what she's up to.
This just doesn't make sense.
I agree. It's very confusing.
And why are I almost said our brothers. Why are our brothers here? I mean my brother. Why is my brother here?
Looks
Where
at the
is here?
smoldering remain. I hope them fellers weren't your brother.
No. Where is here? I'm so confused. And Fable sits down and is like thinking really hard because none of this really makes sense. Like she's in the same room that her brother was, but she's not.
No, I'm not sure. I don't have the answers, and I ain't gonna lie to you and say I do. But all I know is we're all here together, all right? And you got me, and you got this little girl right here who apparently is the best wizard we ever done seen. So I think we're gonna be okay. and we can wait here for a bit and rest up and try to formulate a plot wherein we can get us some answers.
Okay.
So
Good.
we're gonna nap.
And is there like a sofa or anything in here?
Yeah, it's sort of like futon quality, so it's not like really cushy.
I mean, I've slept in a mushroom, so it's
That mushroom was like legit though. So
Memory foam.
best mattress.
I think this whole time Zephyrin has just been like laying on the floor, and he's just like he doesn't care. This is good. This spot is good right now.
Yeah, I think Ronan does that full curl up and like prawn himself around the corner.
Mm-hmm. I'll just I'll keep watch while y'all get some sleep. And I'm sorry. It was a big yawn.
I'm very weak when it comes to that.
No, there's a character in this video game I'm playing who yawns at the end of when he attacks sometimes, and every time he does, I start yawning too.
You literally just have to say the
know.
word yawn and it goes.
Well, yawn is like shaped like
no,
yawn.
hang on.
I feel the yawn in like the back of my jaw, but it's not coming out.
All right, we're done talking about yawning. So you're each able to fall asleep in this layman's tiny hut, and it's very quiet. It's pretty peaceful. It's definitely a much needed deep sleep. And you all get a long rest in, so go ahead and heal up and get your spell slots back.
Yes. So excited.
Feel good.
It's been so long since I had full HP.
Ah!
It's wonderful.
It's been a long day.
I've been
It
sat
has-
at like 6 for around 4 sessions.
It has been the longest day.
And when you wake up, it is still just dark, and Dwayne is asleep with like his bow like out, but obviously not ready. Like he's just passed out in that sort of dad position of like, yeah, I'm totally watching for the monster under your
Ronan does that thing where he stretches his arms out and then stands up and stretches his arms and legs, and now I'm awake because I'm waking up. And he sort of does a little bit of a stretch.
Right, okay, so how are we gonna save everyone and find out what the hell is going on? Also, don't tell Rosie I said hell, because I'll get in trouble.
Fable
Yeah,
goes, your
very-
secret's safe with me.
Thank you.
Zephyrin gets up very stiffly because he just passed out on the floor where he was laying before, and he's just kind of stretching, and you're hearing like probably some small cracks. I think he's too young to really get that the full on like cracking everything. But he's just kind of growing. He's like, yeah, what do we do now?
Well, we gotta get back. Cause I got a bone to pick with my brother.
And I don't know where we are right now, other than a very lovely hut.
He sort of looks over towards the kid.
who's currently just eating candy and nodding enthusiastically.
Wait, are we gonna have to save the adults now? I mean, is that what's happening right now?
Which adults are you trying to save?
My dad, his mom, maybe her brother. I'm not sure.
Maybe my brother.
Well, I mean, he seemed like he was the one who brought everyone else here, and I'm not sure if Zephyrin would know who it was the Winnie's adult that was brought in.
It was just my parents.
There's probably
Oh.
some family resemblance.
Okay. And her mom. So
I feel like Winnie's parents are hippies. They're probably not, but I like that in my head.
Like they actually don't care about my grades, but I still work really hard to.
They're like that vaguely supportive, and you're like, no, I can do better though. All right. So, what happened to him?
well, they were brought in by her brother and points to Fable, and
Who's scowling?
and they were all, I mean, they were like tied up, but then the queen cut the ropes off of them, and that was around when she sent us into that weird air place, the bubble thing, and now we're here.
So you want to go back to the Feywild?
I mean, that isn't that where we are now?
I don't think so. There's nothing weird happening. And this guy's never even heard of an infinite moose donut.
Well, where are we then? Is there like a window in this place or anything?
Nope.
I walk to the door. Is there a door?
There's a door to the hut, and then you can walk out of the door to the hut, and there is a door located at the south end of the room.
Yeah, he'll walk straight towards the door.
Okay. It looks wooden and sturdy. Are you opening it?
I am.
Okay. You
I'm
open
now
the door,
nervous.
and it leads into a long hallway that is carpeted and ends in a wall. It's also very dark, and there are doors going off to the side shortly after you go into the hallway, and then down at the far end.
He sort of looks back briefly, still holding onto his head.
What is this?
I don't know.
This is your house, right?
It's not my house. She said it was her house and points at Fable.
Where is someone else's house?
This is gonna be my house when we put the queen in timeout and Winnie is queen. And I'm side queen.
You can
Like
be
a
queens
side
together. I mean,
don't
if
understand.
if you can have a king and a queen, you can have like 2 queens and 2 kings, right? That's just double the awesome.
Winnie, we're gonna be co-queens.
Maybe you could be like assistant queen.
I think Zephyrin gives Winnie a surprised look that she's, that she is like wants to be queen, or has these ambitions that he never would have had any idea that she would aspire to.
Yeah, the power's gone to her head.
Jordan, I'm like 95% positive she just doesn't want someone who sets things on fire to be queen.
Wait,
Okay,
hang
fine,
on.
I get to
my queenly reputation.
So, would I be a king? I'm confused.
Yeah. Oh, we could be knights of the short table. Because we're kids.
I look around for a table.
You don't see one. You see the throne. You see the hall. You figure if there's tables somewhere, it's probably somewhere else.
Are we still
could be-
glowing?
No.
So hang on. Am I a knight or a king?
You're whatever you want.
Oh.
People ask this not allowed to be what
Oh,
she...
you could be.
If
You could have a queen and a king and like an emperor and like a chancellor. Or an
I am
empress.
going to be goddess of the Feywild.
I mean, there's no queen here or king, so you can probably just be whatever you want. It's not like there's someone ruling here. And
I
watch
read
out
about
for
an
more of the.
One time, you could be an archduke.
Or a knight. I might be a knight.
Like, and I don't know why he pulls his hands up, because he has no weapons. He doesn't use weapons. He's like, I could be a knight. The Queen's Guard. And he gets very excited. But first, these doors. And I'd like to like kick the first door open, because he gets really into it.
Are you going left or right?
As the Queen's Guard, I choose right.
God, I should have said, are you going east or west? Think east is right. Sure. You see what appears to be a waiting room. There are chairs. And there's a solid wall and another door to the south. And you hear movement on the other side of the door.
What kind of movement? Like,
Roll perception.
oh, here we go. Come on, I'm good at this. No, I'm not.
That was the roll.
It seems to have suddenly stopped. You're sure it was there?
I back away anxiously and close the door, and I turn to the left and go through that door.
Okay. There seems to be another waiting room.
Oh, I hate it.
You hear similar movement on the other side of the door.
And you can hear, if anyone can hear him, he's mumbling to himself like, come on. Queen's Guard would not be scared of a mumbling behind the door. And I'd like to very cautiously open the door and peek through.
Okay, roll me a stealth.
Come on, I'm good at this, right? I am good at this. Yes.
Okay.
I was gonna say, like, you saying that might jinx it.
So as you very cautiously ease this door open and look, you see another one of those shambling patrols that seems to be keeping guard of this room. The walls are lined with what appear to be trophies, but they're not nice trophies. They're like skulls and weapons and armor sets.
Okay, nope, and closes the door. And I'd like to put one of the chairs in the waiting room in front of it.
You may do so.
And then he walks back into the corridor. And I want to go through just another door to see if this is like all waiting rooms.
Okay. So the other door at the end of the hallway, on the same side you were on, is a different type of waiting room. It looks like a standing waiting room. There are like velvet ropes. There's a door to the north, and there's a door kind of southish, off to the side. There are windows in this room, and you can see that it seems to be like sunset or sunrise outside, but it's still pretty dusky dawny looking.
And sort of looks over. Can I see anyone else outside?
As you walk up to the windows, you hear much more movement behind the northern door. It sounds like armored movement. And roll me a stealth as you're walking across this room.
Okay,
bear in mind you probably have advantages.
Hang on, do I? I do. I have one advantage. You got this, Ronan. Yes.
Okay, so you quietly pad over and you look out and you see what looks like it should be a courtyard, but it's just dead scrub grass, like sort of scorched earth looking, and nothing seems to really be growing or thriving, and there are a lot of these shambling homies out there. They all have beams of light coming off of them, and they all seem to be going the same routes as though they are on patrol.
Ronan sort of takes some of the velvet and starts like tying the door handle shut, like he's going around and tying it to different things. And then he makes his way back to the little hut and closes the door. And he starts to drag furniture in front of the door. And he's like, okay, as the Queen's Guard, I have patrolled and assessed that in no circumstances should we ever go back into that corridor.
And Twain is waking up and stretching. Ugh. What's up there?
We are surrounded by the shamblers.
As he sort of like looks through the keyhole.
And I don't know what to do about it.
What about the fire? And she turns and looks at the girl who she admires for just, blowing it out of the water with flames earlier.
Yeah, I can set lots of stuff on fire. But I feel like maybe if we set stuff on fire, I won't be able to cast it anymore, and then there will be a lot of them, and it'll just be a big like bonfire to them, like moths to the flame kinda, and they'll know where we are, and then they'll come in and kill us.
What if we set a trap?
What kind of trap?
So you're right. What if we set this room on fire and then we leave? And so everybody thinks that we're in here, but we're not.
But where would we go?
She looks at Ronan.
There's literally the corridor, which is full of shamblers. So if we want, we could set the corridor on fire.
Okay.
Let me move the table.
Oh no, sorry, there's no tables. Let me move the sofa.
I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, we can't get out if the corridor's on fire. Isn't that the only way out?
What is this house made out of?
It seems to be made out of the typical castle ingredients. It's made out of stone. There's some wood involved, and from looking out the window, you can tell that you're on the second floor.
There's stairs down?
You didn't find stairs down. There are some doorways you didn't go into. In the ropey waiting room, there was a set of doors down at the south, and there was the one to the north that was full of shamblers, you would guess. And then there were also the other rooms on the other side that may or may not be full of shamblers.
Okay, give me a second.
And I move the thing and I go down on all fours and start shuffling along the corridor towards the door that I haven't opened.
Through the ropey waiting room?
Through the ropey waiting room.
You find stairs down.
Hey! There's stairs over here!
Are you yelling this?
No, I am not. I would like to go back to the room.
Stairs over here. Maybe we could try going down them? Away from the shambly thingies?
Alright. Well, we go down the stairs and have a little look around, or just try to get out as fast as possible. Right?
Well, we're just trying to leave, right?
What's outside?
Not a lot, to be fair. A lot of wasteland kind of look.
Any of them spooky, shambly fellers?
Oh, loads.
Right.
Hundreds, thousands of them. Millions, maybe.
What is the plan?
I don't know. I was just told to check the doors.
Our puppies. And Fable pulls out the tooth. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do. Puppy!
And your puppy appears, and the tail starts waggling, and it starts yipping.
Well, hello there. You're so cute. And Fable gets really distracted from what she was actually going to do with the dog, because it's a puppy in front of her. And then she's like, "Hey, can you take me to my brother?"
And it looks at you, wags its tail, its tongue lolls out, and it licks you
take all of us. I mean, she re-raises because
you like forgot. See the like film start to close over its eyes, and it opens again, and it whines and puts its head in its paws.
You can't take everybody, or you can't take me.
I mean, it's a little puppy. I don't know how much it's gonna, There's a lot of us here.
Well, we all have one.
And he looks at the kid, and the kid looks back at him, All right, yeah, that could work.
And I sort of summon my puppy as well.
Comes and immediately starts sniffing around.
And he sort of like sits down and does like that you know when you pull them into a hug and just sits there with him.
Gently thwapping your cheek with its
Yeah,
tail.
it's like, ow, ow.
Zephyrin goes ahead and summons his.
Here's Piers and sees that you've been wounded recently and starts looking at, where your hands maybe have a little bit of blood and stuff on them.
I want my
Hesitates for
puppy
blood. Your puppy comes up and
Now we have Cujo.
immediately sits guard, starts looking around very seriously.
So, puppies, assemble. Fable tries to sound authoritative because she wants to show that she would be really good co-queen. I know that she'll be goddess if she has to, but she'd prefer co-queen. And
roll me an animal handling.
Oh no. I don't remember if I have any skills in this. Oh, okay. Okay. 13.
Two of them
They're
look
friendly.
at you and cock their head to the side, and the other two, the boys' dogs, seem to be kind of doing the rub my tummy. They sense that their
I'm
friends
gonna pay
have
no
gone to-
attention. I'm gonna pay no attention to the ones that are not paying attention to me because I need to be successful here. And I'm going to say, can you take us to our the other people?
They all look up at you, and in unison, their tails all start wagging, and that film closes over their eyes, and you all appear outside somewhere. You don't know what this is. It seems like Ronan had described outside the scrub, sort of not growing so well, grass and the hard earth, and there's a bush, really scraggly, horrible bush in front of you, and crouched behind that in front of you appears to be Legend.
Oh, I got a bone to pick with you! And she
Ronan
draws
just,
her sword.
Ronan puts his hands up and just lets her walk past.
And Legend seems very surprised as he turns, and you see a couple shamblers rise up on the other side of the bush and start heading towards you, looking around investigatively. And Legend is like,
Fable just at the glares him as she sinks down below the bush.
should move very quietly and very quickly.
Why should I trust you?
Because we're gonna die to that. And you can hear shamblers shambling closer.
Shambler's gonna shamble.
Fine.
Shambler's got a sham.
Fine, but this conversation isn't over.
Okay. Just. Okay. Y'all could roll me a stealth roll.
Oh no! This is bad.
Did I say, could I use an advantage?
To up it to 13.
Yeah.
I can tell you it will not accomplish much.
Okie dokie, then I will keep my advantage.
So what happens is Fable turns and starts to, grumble shuffle away, and Winnie listening very quietly starts to go off. Zephyrin creeps as well. And
I'm sorry.
not realizing that Ronan has backed away and where Ronan is, Legend turns and steps back directly on Ronan's tail, which then just has a bad effect. Yeah,
Has
pretty
that
much
effect.
Like that. Yeah. And the shamblers definitely see get off my hand. Definitely seem like they're onto you, and their pace becomes much more direct. And Legend says, "Okay, just run," and starts just booking it in a direction and says, "Follow me."
Run! And I think Ronan takes off.
As we're running, Fable is like sassily saying, "I'm sure that's what you said to everybody when you took them to the queen."
I didn't take anybody. Look, we can talk about this later, okay?
There is no later, there is now, Legend. And she's got her sword out, like running behind Legend.
Did you see our parents at all?
No, but I saw you.
And he's like grabbing it like a stitch in his side as he's running. This terrain is not even. The sun is growing higher in the sky as these things are chasing you. You can tell that they are humans, elves, dwarves. They're actually a lot of different races. They all seem to be humanoid sentient races as they're shambling after you at a fairly alarming rate, more like zombies than zombies. But,
oh no, not zombies.
Yeah, zombies are.
I hate it when they run.
But they, after a point, look up at the sky and start zooming back to the castle. And everyone roll me a perception check.
Come on. 12.
Ronan, you are still like glaring about this tail issue. Everyone else is having feelings as you see a boat on a river coming into view. It seems to be a fairly large boat, and someone is standing there, rope in hand. Zephyr, and you can tell, like, ready to weigh anchor at a moment's notice. And as you get up closer, Legend kind of vaults on to this ship, this boat, and says, "Come on, hurry!" And you see that the person standing with the acorn, with the anchor, is Shakirsi.
Oh no.
Okay, Fable's just gonna straight up tackle Legend.
Make me an athletics.
I imagine that this is something that, like, when they do fight, like, they literally wrestle and, like, argue at the same time. They're not trying to hurt each other, but, like, she's mad. He's going down. Like, she's small, but no. None of this.
So he's like bending over ready to help weigh anchor and just like side beamed by you.
And Fable's just yelling.
Just like, or like yelling.
No,
words.
like, I'm so mad at you. You didn't make the right decision. You told me not to kidnap people, and then you go and do it. That's not fair. You don't work for the queen. You work for me.
He seems very shocked as he kind of does the wiggle struggle and says, "Look, I'm sorry. I know I lied to you. It's confusing, but we really have to go."
This isn't over. And she stands up, wipes herself off, and like goes and stands by Ronan.
Are we all getting on the boat?
Ronan's nursing his tail and just scowling at Legend as he walks onto this boat.
Yeah, boat.
Okay. Shakirsi pulls up the anchor and the boat immediately starts moving down the river, and Legend is like breathing heavily, and Shakirsi is just staring back at where you came from.
I think Ronan walks over to Shakirsi. It's like, you! Like, walks over, still holding his tail in one hand.
Show me your eyes.
She looks back with rainbow eyes.
And he squints and he sort of backs up to the rest of the group and he's like,
I don't trust her.
Trust anybody.
Explain what's going on right now. I mean, yeah, what's what's going on? I'm confused.
Stay back!
I'm confused.
like he's got his stick out with his tail in one hand as well. Like he's trying to.
Legend, do you think perhaps you'd be better? And Shakirsi gestures, and Legend winces real bad and says, I don't want to. And she gives him a very reproachful look.
He's like, look, someone's gonna give us. He's got his stick out. Is it someone's gonna give us answers, or I'm gonna knock him off the boat?
And I'm gonna help. Fable crosses her arms behind Ronan. Dead eyeing.
It's the
Legend.
one thing I'm good at, okay? Like, that's hitting people with sticks.
All right, so what's your questions? Exactly. How much do you know?
What the hell is going on? And why are your eyes that color?
Don't say hell.
No. I don't what? Hang on, I need to confer.
And he sort of looks back at Winnie.
Sorry.
Don't say hell.
Oh no, that's good.
What in goodness name is going on here?
I'll let that one slide, but Winnie, good job.
I'll let you slide.
He's like getting closer with his stick. Like,
We need some answers. And why are your eyes like that? Why should we trust you?
My eyes are like this because, well, I'm not the original.
And
That's it.
And
Fable
you,
draws
and
her
he sort of
sword.
turns to Legend.
is and you, tail stamper. What's your story?
And he lets out a like bark of a laugh in spite of himself.
It's not
And
Funny, and I jab him.
takes a hit, and he looks at his sister and winces and says, I didn't. All right, don't think any different of me, okay?
You see Fable's eyebrow go up.
Ronan's eyes narrow, and the stick like is adjusted.
Right, so when I was a lot younger, I don't know what happened, but I started being alive.
Do you mean you were born?
No, I don't think I was born. I just started being alive.
No, of course you were born.
I don't think I was never small, like real small. And
What?
I thought you said he was smart.
like Ronan turns
I
to
thought
Fable.
it was.
and he shakes his head. He's like, "See, this is not right."
It is.
And I hit him with the stick.
Ah.
Fable
Look.
giggles.
Neither of us were born. That's what we're trying to say. We just sort of started being at some point, and here we are.
Look, just because we're
How-
kids doesn't mean you can lie to us.
I know how babies are made.
You do?
Yes, two people love each other very much and magic happens.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah.
Belle?
We'll get into anatomy later.
And
So
that's-
you were born because how you can't, Mom and Dad. What are you gonna say to them? Oh, I
we should
wasn't born.
ask them.
Yeah, Mom and Dad know.
Wait. What, that you just appeared?
Yeah.
But you've been here forever.
No, they gave birth to someone and he got lost. But then I appeared one day. And I was in this circle and there was this wizard. And she said I'd been recruited to join the Queen's army. And she said I could pick my own name. She said I could achieve great things and train under the best and become a great warrior. But I'd have to age up a little bit, and I didn't want to, so I tried to run away and find a way to somewhere that wasn't so bad. It was weird. There were weird things going on there. Nothing made sense. And I found a way back. It was like sliding down a really long slide, and I got here and I managed to run away. But our parents knew something was wrong, and he takes off the sword belt that he always wears at his waist, and you see him grow younger, as though like a spell had been cast over him. And he looks up at you with rainbow eyes and says, "They took me in and raised me and helped me, grow up like I was supposed to. Just has to be adjusted every couple years." And he clicks it back on and seems to age back to his normal self. And when I met Shakirsi, she was the same way. I've been alive a very long time, and it wasn't exactly the same. There was no circle, there was no wizard. It was just one day I named myself. There was no one else around, and I enjoyed the Feywild and frolicked through everything, and God, it was beautiful. So many interesting sights and sounds and tastes. Everything's just more there.
Look. And he sort of holds the stick up again. He's like, you are not explaining the situation and what is going on. You were saying you appeared. You obviously grow and degrow, or what? I've done that, okay? But what is this?
This is old Roefeld.
What is old Roefeld? Why is there an old Roefeld? And what the hell is the other? Sorry. What?
Language.
My goodness, is the other one?
Well, the other one is where all the survivors moved.
Survivors of what?
Well, the reason I came into being, there's this horrible woman, so I'm told, went into the Feywilds. She found a way there where it was weak in old Roefeld, and she found a way to make herself younger. She proclaimed herself the queen, and she raised an army and decided she was going to attempt to take over as much of this plane as possible. But when she came back, something went wrong. And every plan she had for Roefeld to become her subjects or slaves, or army, I don't know, it all ended up decimated, and residents are still there, sort of. But everyone who could leave did. And that's Roefeld.
Why is this happening? Why is this happening now?
I don't know.
Why has no one told us this before? We could have prevented something.
Well, we tried to tell some people, younger kids, but... And she looks at Legend. Some of them got curious and wanted to explore for themselves.
Fable is gonna walk up to Legend with her sword in her hand stare him dead in the eye and say, "You lied." And she's going to throw her sword down right in front of him and walk to the other end of the ship.
And he looks down at the sword and nods. I just wanted to protect everyone. And everyone said just don't tell anyone because they didn't want more people to end up like me, more kids to be lost, but...
But we don't lie, Legend. You promised.
I know, and it's the only thing I've lied about. But what would you have done? If I said, hey, Fable, I'm not growing any older and I think there's something wrong with me. I don't remember my early childhood or...
A person's a person no matter how much they grow or they don't. And just because you're different doesn't mean you're not my brother. But brothers don't lie. So now I don't know.
And he walks up and he very quietly tells you the last things that you'd written on his wall before you left in the place that only the two of you knew about and could read. And he says, I remembered you being born, and I've watched you grow up, and the last thing I'd ever want to do is hurt you. I have to be your big brother, and I have to protect you. And just once, I would have told you the truth eventually. I just didn't want you to hate me for nothing I can control.
So why did you take everybody else to the queen? By the way, we're overthrowing her, but we can talk about that when I'm not mad at you.
I didn't. I followed them.
But why'd you bow? You know her.
I don't know her. Everyone got on this ship, and he looks at Shakirsi, and she looks guilty.
Okay, now I'm gonna pick up my sword and point it at Shakirsi.
Were they
He'd been missing for so long, and we thought the worst, and your parents insisted I take you back, even knowing I can't go over. And I was waiting for them to come back, hopefully with you, but having you, they said, even if they didn't come back, was something that I should accept and leave with.
I think at this point, Zephyr's gonna kind of speak up, and he's gonna say, when Ronan and I were in this weird place where there were people in these portraits, and there were, the ones that there were people in the portraits, it was like there were two versions of them, kind of like how we saw adult versions of us too, and he gestures to Ronan, and our adult versions had rainbow eyes, but we had gray eyes. So, and then he also points over at young Tempasia.
She's not with you.
Oh, she's not. Okay.
She doesn't have a puppy.
Oh, so she never got.
No.
Nope. She and Twain are both back there.
Oh,
crap.
I was under the impression that the puppy's power combined would teleport us all.
Nope.
Okay.
One ride per customer.
Okay. So he, pauses when he realizes that she's not there. Oh no. Well, so I found the younger version of my dad's cousin, Tempasia, and she said that when you leave, you don't, you stay behind? Some of you stay behind? Is there any way you can we can find a way to leave? become one thing and leave for good?
So, like, she said, do you get split or
I think so.
copied? I'm not sure. I've not been able to. Only once have I been able to return. And it wasn't a good time for me. I've never been in the portrait room, and Legend shakes his head as well. But I would imagine that there is such a place exists. It must be all the people who have been split or copied. Maybe people who just started being like us. And Legend is frowning at something and says, "Did you say Tempasia?"
Zephyr nods. Yeah, that's her name.
That's the wizard that was at the summoning circle when I started being.
Yeah, she helped us get back home when we first got stuck in the Feywild.
Well, maybe your older selves just started being too.
Maybe.
I don't know. We could research it. I don't think there's a book about it, though.
I think at this point, Zephyr just kind of sits down and he's just... You can probably tell by the look on his face, he is at a loss.
I mean, how do you take a copy or two halves, and if they're two halves, it'd become two wholes? I wonder what would happen if you killed one.
Zephyr just kind of shakes his head. And, well, I don't know if that would kill us.
I don't want to kill anyone.
Well, do you want a second version of yourself?
I want to go home.
I want to go home too.
We're headed there.
The other one doesn't bother me, then I don't mind. It doesn't bother anyone else.
All right.
Us?
I suppose then it's just getting your parents back, and she looks around, and I really think we should be getting you back and home, at least letting someone know that you're not gone for good. I mean, you've been gone for weeks now.
Weeks. Last time it was hours.
Last time.
None of this makes any sense.
It's been weeks since the festival, and that's the last time anyone can remember seeing you.
God, and my parents are going to be so mad at me.
Rosie's gonna kill me.
I won't tell her that you said the H word.
Thank you, I really appreciate that, Winnie. I'll say it wasn't your fault that this happened. It's your parents, I mean. I'll vouch for you.
Thanks.
It's none of any of your faults. Accidents happen. I'm sure if someone said, "Hey, do you want to go on a super fun adventure where everything goes wrong and your parents disappear. No one would volunteer for that. We'll figure out how to get them back, though.
So, how long till we get home?
About a day.
Day. That's a long time.
I know. It's far enough away that the shamblers don't bother us.
What's Roefeld like right now?
It's normal. People are a bit on edge, thinking that several children have disappeared. Not sure if he wandered into the forest or wolves. We've been looking a lot. Going to Old Roefeld was the last option. No boats were missing. We doubted that you would make it there on foot. Be tuckered out and come back.
What do we say to them when we get back? Because when we spoke to them, they seemed, if it was them, they seemed very suspicious. And no offense, you're seeming real suspicious too.
If
He
your
lowers the
parents,
stick.
if your parents are there when we get back, we might have to verify that it actually is your parents and not something else.
But Rosie's all I have. She's gotta be alright.
I'm sure she will be. But
If anything ever happened though with Rosie, you could come in, you could stay with me.
Thank you.
And he just sort of gives like a little bit of a smile.
They'll all be okay and we'll be okay. And if they're not, I'll hit them with my stick.
And he pulls up the stick again.
Happens. We need to stick together and look out for each other.
is there someone in town you would trust more to watch after you until we can figure out a way to get your parents back?
Zephyrin shakes his head.
No.
I haven't been in town long enough.
And I don't trust anyone right now, other than...
And sort of looks over at Fable, Winnie, and Zephyrin.
Fable is gonna, like, holding her sword, be like, we've taken care of ourselves fine this far. Might as well do it more. She's officially in winter.
We're good at it. We've been turned into sticks. We've tried to cross rivers. There's been mountains. There's been people with capable legs. I mean,
And everybody
we've
lies to
still
us
been fine.
anyway.
We're tree people. We're still fine. Don't need anyone else.
But other people might need you. And I think your parents were probably acting odd because they were worried that something had gone wrong.
But you just said they might not even be our real parents when we get back.
Well, I took your real parents here and they didn't come back, so if someone comes back, it could be your real parents or it could be... And she looks at Legend and gives an eyebrow and he kind of looks sulky. Not who you think they are.
Surprise, surprise.
Extra aware, is what
Right.
you're saying.
If you know questions, if you have secret codes, if you have some way to tell,
code, Zephyrin perks up and he just goes, I learned some secret code that I could teach the rest of you. We could use that to communicate with each other. And whenever he has a chance, I think he would like to teach some like basic, because he's got thieves' cant from being a rogue, and I think he would like to teach some of the simpler, like phrases and like gestures to Winnie, Fable, and Ronan.
Good. And do you want to take today to rest or to try to train a little bit?
I think Zephyrin stands up and I think I've had a lot of rest. I think I'd like to train. I don't know about the rest of you.
I want to train, but I want to keep moving.
Of course.
Fable is just gonna say, somebody get me a stick. And she's gonna walk. She's not gonna train. She's not gonna rest. She's gonna play with fire. Because she's emotionally
volatile.
Drained. Yeah, like, yeah. No, but there's a lot of not okay in this situation. She's a little overwhelmed.
Where's that book?
Still have it.
Do I still have it? Winnie doesn't want to train because she's not really a fighter, but she also doesn't want to rest. None of this like makes sense to her because it's nothing like linear or studied. So I think she's gonna go and try to look through that book or try to make sense of what she's just heard. She's very overwhelmed.
As you open the book, you see that it's back to gibberish.
Okay. I'll still read it all.
We learned so much about the
we learned so much from that book, so.
Ronan sort of, whilst takes a stance with his staff and starts practicing everything Rosie taught him.
And Legend will pick up an oar and spar with you. It's obvious that he's not trying to do any damage, but just spar. And Shakirsi brings out some blades and will do the same with Zephyrin. And that's where we'll call it tonight. On a super happy note.
It's got grim in the best way.
Okay.
Who is anybody anymore? Did we all disappear?
I love it though. Okay, wonderful. Good. Thank you. I'm so excited for next week now. Yeah, otherwise please check out the links coming up in chat now. That includes Discord, Twitter. If you want to get into a game, drop a DM on Twitter, especially because the next season is also coming up soon as well. If you have missed out on anything or want to catch up, please go check over YouTube. We have a playlist for every single game, including this one. A huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors in the form of Hero Forge, where you can now get colored minis, and the quality is amazing, and you can get loads and loads of editions now, which I think extendable arms is one of them. I think that was a new one, which like I'm kind of loving. Also the deck of many things that bring you the moving magic spell cards, which you can see there, and also Humblewood, which is super wholesome. And last but certainly not least, Mage Hand Press, that created dark matter and many other play sets that you can see over here on Monday at Mage Hand Mondays. Otherwise, keep evoking emotions. Whew. I'll see you next week. Bye.